Hello, here is Geeta to have the class part 3 of rational and irrational numbers. There are some theorems related to rational and irrational. Let us have. If A is any natural number and P is a prime number such that P divides A square, then P divides A. Okay, if P is prime number, A is any natural number. If A square is divisible by P, A is divisible by P. That is your theorem 1. And the next theorem is, if A and B are any two natural numbers and P is a prime number, then such that P divides AB, A into B, then P divides either A or P divides B or P divides both. That means either AB is divisible by P or only A is divisible by P or only B is divisible by P. And basing on this, let us prove how root 2, root 3, root 5, etc., root 10, whatever, all these are irrational numbers. How to prove root 2 is an irrational number? Let me explain you now. Root 2 or root 3 or root 5 or root 10 or root 7, how they are irrational. Let me explain you first about root 2. Prove that root 2 is an irrational number. We know that the root 2 is an irrational number. How to prove it? Okay. Let us assume that root 2 is a rational number. Okay. Let root 2 be a rational number. What is a rational number? We know that rational number is in the form of P by Q, where P and Q are integers and also Q is not equal to 0 and P and Q have no common factors except 1. That is what we have learned about rational numbers. So if root 2 is a rational number, root 2 is equal to P by Q. Let us square both the sides. When we square both the sides, root 2 square is 2, that equal to P square by Q square. That implies by cross multiplication we will have P square is equal to 2Q square. 2Q square means 2Q square is divisible by 2. That means 2 divides 2Q square. But 2Q square equal to P square. That means 2 divides P square. Just now we have learned the theorem that if P divides P square, P divides A. Same way, if 2 divides P square, 2 divides P. 2 divides P. That means P is divisible by 2. Let us keep this. 2 divides P means, let us think, let P is equal to 2m. Because P is divisible by 2. So let P equal to 2m. Then again square both the sides. We'll have P equal to 4m square. If you square both the sides, we get P square equal to 4m square. Here we got P square equal to 2Q square. Here we got P square equal to 4m square. So that means 2Q square is equal to 4m square. That means Q square is equal to 4m square by 2 or Q square is equal to 2m square. Again you see 2 divides 2m square. 2 divides 2m square. If 2 divides 2m square. 2 divides q square. That means 2 divides q square, like just like this. That means 2 divides q. That means q is divisible by 2. That means 2 is the factor of q. Here we got 2 divides p. Here we got 2 divides q. That means 2 is the factor of p. 2 is the factor of q. That means p and q have a common factor 2. A common factor. P and q have a common factor 2. But here we know that p by q is a rational number. It has no common factor. But we got the common factor 2. That means our supposition is wrong. What we thought is wrong. We thought that root 2 is a rational number. So this p and q have a common factor 2 we got. But p and q have no common factor except 1. Have no common factor except 1. Therefore, root 2 is not rational. If it is not rational, root 2 is irrational. I believe you understood. If root 2 is not rational, it is irrational. Why root 2 is not rational? Because p and q have common factor 2. But we know that p and q have no common factor. That's why it is not rational. If it is not rational, it is irrational. Okay? Now let me explain you one more proof. How can we prove that root 2 plus root 3 is irrational? Prove that. Okay. Just a simple, now only root 2 I explained you. Now addition of two irrational numbers is irrational number. How? We know that that is irrational. How to prove? Let us learn. Prove that root 2 plus root 3 is an irrational number. Same way, let us think that let root 2 plus root 3 is rational number. R for rational, where R is not equal to 0. Okay, rational but not equal to 0. Clear? If root 2 plus root 3 is R, root 2 equal to R minus root 3. Let us square both the sides. Root 2 square equal to R minus root 3 square. That implies 2 equal to R square. It is like A minus B whole square. A square minus 2AB. 2 into R into root 3 is 2 root 3 R. Plus B square root 3 square is 3. That implies, let me bring this minus 2 root 3 R this side. 2 root 3 R equal to R square plus 3 minus 2. Or R is equal to R square plus 3 minus 2 is plus 1. When this 2 root 3 goes this side, it will be 2 root 3. Here, let us take root 3 here. We'll keep root 3 here. We'll take 2R this side. Okay? Now, R is not equal to 0, but R is a rational number. Here R is a rational number. If R is a rational number, but as R is rational, R square plus 1 by 2R is rational. Okay. That means this is rational. If this is rational, means root 3 is rational. Because this is equal to this. That implies root 3 is rational. But we know that root 3 is irrational. But we know that root 3 is irrational. If root 3 is irrational, how can this be rational? If clear, that's why root 2 plus root 3 is not equal to R. This contradicts. If this is rational, root 3 is rational. But we know that root 3 is irrational. That means our assumption is wrong. Therefore, our assumption means what we thought. Our assumption is wrong. Wrong means root 2 plus root 3 is rational is wrong. Therefore, root 2 plus root 3 is irrational. That is what is proved. These type of questions it makes you confused, children, I know, but not tough. Just a little more practice can make you perfect. Okay? Thank you.